From WDWNT, the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is ParksCenter. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of ParksCenter. My name's Ben, and joining me on tonight's show, we have Jill.
Hello.
Rob.
Howdy, folks.
Nathan.
A kungaloosh.
And Tyler.
He's muted.
Oh.
He's mute.
It's a tradition of
It's got to happen to everyone at some point. There you go. And Tyler.
Oh, hello from Canada.
There we go.
Well,
Takes a while for the sound to get here.
No big deal.
All right, kicking off tonight's show, we're going to talk a little bit about some rumors for what's coming to what used to be known as Stitch's Great Escape. For a while now, there have been some rumors circulating that a Wreck-It Ralph attraction was going to be here. Initially, it was going to be a VR, but then we found out VR isn't really coming to the parks, at least not anytime soon. But Wreck-It Ralph in this space is still something that's being talked about, and at this point, the rumor is that every guest is going to have a controller in their seat that they will be able to control something with. This feels like it's going to be kind of wishy-washy to me, like another Mission Space kind of situation.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, there's like the speech about control, and there's like the illusion of control. Mission Space is to me very disappointing in the fact that whether you hit the button or not, it's going to happen. I don't know yet with Smuggler's Run what that's going to be. So to hear that there's one other thing, it's just like as fans we start to kind of like guess like what does this mean operationally? Is there going to be a screen in front of you? Does everybody work cooperatively toward one game? I'm excited to see it. I love that there's going to be something else back in the space. I was just there today and saw, I took a bunch of pictures of Stitch from outside, knowing the story was breaking, so that I could have them for posterity or to sit in my camera roll forever. But I'm very hopeful for this attraction, and so I hate that we have to wait till 2022 to see it, though.
It does seem like a long wait.
For something where they're already going to be repurposing the theater, so it's not like they're ripping everything out. I don't know. I'm curious about this as well. Like, what does this mean? Obviously, we're not going to get, everybody's got an Xbox controller with 4 buttons and triggers and joysticks that control stuff. But I was actually thinking this could be maybe something along the lines of like a little bit where the audience kind of gets to weigh in on something. Like either I'm thinking Wreck-It Ralph 2, where people were having to like his videos on the internet, and maybe that's something that they're playing it, where like your controller is like how you like different videos or something. Either that, or maybe it's almost like you get to vote on a path that you can take, and maybe there's a couple of different alternate endings, which could be potential if it's primarily sort of a screen-based show. So that's what I was thinking in terms of giving the audience some level of control. I hope it's something a little more interactive than what Mission Space is, because, yes, that is definitely disappointing.
Well, and it's also trying to figure out how they're going to use that center. If it's staying a circular theater, that means something has got to be in the round. And I guess that's Ralph. I don't know. It's all sort of perplexing to me. And this idea of liking videos and stuff. I don't even know if we'll be using that nomenclature in 5 years. Who knows? The internet moves so fast that the movie's already outdated.
That's a good point.
And in that way, like, I just don't know if this is going to work out so hot. It's taking forever to come along, which is, I think, only because there's so much other stuff going on that it's not a primary concern. I don't know. I don't love Wreck-It Ralph anyway, especially after the second movie. I feel like there's a lot you could have done with Candy Rush right next door at Speedway. So, I don't know. I think there's better ways of utilizing Ralph in the Tomorrowland area.
Agreed. I'm just excited to see something be in that space that doesn't involve terrible chili dog smells. So.
Talking about the Speedway, though, a Sugar Rush would be an awesome addition, but don't you think it should be Tron cars? I mean, like, I know that's not...
the light cycles.
I mean, it just reopened. It seems like it would have... I mean, maybe that's still on the table. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's why they're keeping it, but... I mean,
Yeah.
try
I don't
ours,
know.
right?
Gas-powered go-karts aren't the future, and it doesn't belong in Tomorrowland. But
No,
whatever.
I think there's a lot of hope.
They
that
clearly
All
they're
right,
gonna
we've drifted
do.
long off topic here.
All right, that's me. That's on.
We will gladly talk about the potato smell in the post show though. Magic bands. We announced recently on the website that you'll be able to customize those free Magic bands that you've been getting every trip that you've gone to Disney World now and stayed on property. So now, rather than just getting plain colors, you can pay a little bit extra, either $10 or $15, I believe, and get it upgraded to something a little more decorated. So you've still got the basic options, but then you've got like all the print designs, all sorts of honestly really cool stuff. I have a Magic Band that I never redeemed from getting my annual pass, and I think I'm going to take advantage of that pretty soon for some of this, because this seems pretty great. The only issue is the website, as normal, is having all sorts of difficulty keeping up with demand right now. So be careful if you're trying to get in there and do stuff.
I mean, I think the hope here may be to put some stuff on the back end, in the sense of merchandise. Now they can, you can do this before you get there, and I know they want you to collect more and got to catch them all and whatnot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that there is a desire. I mean, there's whole walls right now full of Magic Bands that are not getting like moved, because once people have the gray one or the pink one or whatever, they're like, I don't know, I'm just here for a week. But if you put that forward to something that they can deal with while they're at home comfortably and they have time to think about it, there's a better chance, I think, that they're going to buy it. And then all they've got to do is take that Magic Band out of the plastic or whatever and throw it in the bin, and there it goes. So I think this is a way for them to move some extra Magic Bands. I don't think the Magic Band idea has been as successful in the sense of like pin trading, and I think that was their hope, that it was going to be the next kind of like big customizable thing you did. And I think it's just because people already have one on when they're in the parks, and that's where they sell the majority of them. So it's hard to get people to buy them, and this is a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
I would actually counter that a little bit, because I collect Magic Bands, and it's a minor addiction.
What don't you collect, Rob?
Money. Give it away to Disney. No, but I mean the collectible Magic Bands, the ones that are there's the regular Magic Bands, there's the limited edition, and limited release, and then the limited edition. So the ones that are in the boxes, this trip was looking for the Aladdin one that's out there, from the movie, and you can't find it anywhere. I can't tell if it's just because it's sold out or because it's not out yet. I know that we had one on the blog that somebody had gotten already, but the ones in the boxes, if you go online, are hugely collectible. You can see them for $400 or $500 for some of the 45th anniversary ones that I've literally thought about, hey, maybe I should sell this. I have the Tron one that was a limited release, and that's like selling for like $300. Don't tell my wife. Take away from me and sell it. But I mean, to me, like, I love the Magic Band concept, and I think when it first came out, I sort of hated it. But now, it's about, changing into, if I'm going to Pandora, I'm taking the Pandora Magic Band with me. I have an orange bird I wear to the Magic Kingdom, and I have one of each color. So now I've got the opportunity that now that I have one of each color with Magic Band 2, I can add some of these others to the list. So I think it's very cool. I never thought about it the way that you had mentioned it, Nathan, that like maybe they're having trouble moving them. The standard ones maybe, but the collector's edition ones, except for Infus Nest from Han Solo, which is still everywhere. I haven't
at
seen
the outpost as we speak.
They all go very fast.
There were stacks of these that no one touched. Yes.
Yeah, the Epcot.
Which one's that?
Like
Goodness.
35.
Yeah.
Although the orange one sold out a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah,
fair.
I don't understand, how did it take them so long to figure out that they should do this? I mean, they've been giving away free Magic Bands for years. How did it take them this long to figure out that they could upcharge? People will eat this up. I guarantee you that this is going to spark so many $14.99 purchases online.
That's great.
It's such an easy thing to do, and it's crazy to me that they didn't do this years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm placing an order right now.
I wish I could. Mine's not. I'm
I'm in the same boat as Ben because I have not gotten the AP one yet, and so I'm looking at it going. I was waiting for this after we announced it, like, you know.
Oh yeah,
I have
I'm
to get
doing the
that.
same thing, but I can't get into the site.
Fair.
I haven't been able to get into the site all day.
Hopefully we'll be able to get into the site, and hopefully we'll be able to get into Star Wars Land pretty soon.
Transition.
Hey, we did it.
That was an attempt at best.
So we have a review, and it is very early review from the cast member previews, so things could change slightly between now and then. But we do have a review up on the site of what the Millennium Falcon attraction is going to be like. Now, before I go much further, I'm just going to say up front that this will be a spoilery discussion. So if you are not interested in hearing about this, mute the video, keep an eye on the sidebar, and when we flip to the next topic, it'll be safe to come back. Everybody gone? Good. Okay. So the review for this is really positive. I am really excited to see this. The details are a little sparse, but it sounds like it delivers on everything we've been promised at this point, where you're actually flying, you have control, you get to do things that matter. We even have a little bit of on-ride video. If you check out our Twitter, you can see this is only about an 8-second long clip, but
they're not gonna make it.
Look at
Is it
that.
over? I've closed my eyes. Is it over?
Like that's amazing.
Oh,
like
no,
you've
it's back
got you've got two. I love the fact that you've got two different colored guns for the lasers, so that you know like which one of the two gunners is which.
Yep.
Like I'm pretty sure that's not canon, but I don't think I care.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's not canon.
Yeah. One of
review
them
gave
broke.
me-
All we had left to replace it was this.
That review gave me hope because, like, I was worried about the interaction versus like the immersion and everything, and it sounds like it's at least more overwhelming in everything that's happening. Like, you'll need to go on it a few times to get everything versus Mission Space, where it's like if you ride a second time, the only thing that's different is like you'll be in a different seat and you'll push a different button,
Yep.
or you'll not get to push a different button depending on. But I'm so happy to hear that like everyone is doing everything, and even like I think we're all under the impression that we want to do the pilot the first time around, right? Like, does everyone just want to pilot it? Because there's going to be people who like no,
Ben
you
wants
don't
to be
care.
the gunner, I think.
No, like maybe it's just me. I want to be engineer, guys. Like I want to be sitting there fixing all of y'all breaking
I
everything.
agree.
I want to play support.
So you want to be
That's kind
R2D2.
of what you do.
Yeah.
You want to be the
Support.
Lucio of the group. Perfect.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
wasn't.
So
I think. Oh, I'm sorry. Jill, do you want to go?
I was just gonna say, like, my thing is, I don't know. I feel like this description, while somewhat spoilery, is also it leaves a lot. I don't know. I still don't know if I have a good grasp of it, or maybe it's just sort of me being in denial because the comparisons here were Star Tours and Mission Space, and I don't know. I had higher expectations
A
than
little bit
that.
of footage.
I mean, it feels.
So-
it's always felt like a mix of those two, though. So I mean,
So maybe I don't know. I'm still a little bit skeptical, and I think I'm still a little. I need to wait and see more than this.
right. I think what I would say on that is like, the main thing that I took from the article was I was not expecting them to. I don't know. I just always was thinking like, and then you enter the Falcon, and that's where everyone waits, which is insane. Like that's clearly not what can happen.
Yeah.
I totally forgot there was going to be like a docking bay area, cargo. Like this other kind of like this aesthetic. So I'm excited to see what that actually is. And
that's where
what
Hondo
sort of
is.
details. Right. I mean, it all makes sense. It's just when you think about that ride, you only exclusively think about the Millennium Falcon. You don't think about all the other Q elements that are connected to it. So for me,
That's
at least,
fair.
it was nice to go, oh yeah, like there's a whole other part of this ride in this immersion that I'm not really considering beyond a chessboard. I'm going hollow chess cockpit.
Mhm.
That's the only thing I've been thinking about, and really all they've been showing. So I feel like we'll go in sort of blind to 95% of that ride. So it's interesting.
Oh man, I want to try this. I just can't wait for it to not have a nightmare line, which is going to take years.
Well, I'll
but-
see you in
2023.
Yeah. Speaking of other things I'll see in 2023, the entirety of Galaxy's Edge. So we have a few stories. We have a few other stories this week. We have there are going to be Droid Tracks. I'm just going to kind of read these off and then we'll discuss them. We've got Droid Tracks that are going to lead you to special photo ops and interactive scenes. We've got Guest Relations making a whole bunch of changes ahead of Galaxy's Edge opening at Disneyland. We've got the custom droid building process and all the pricing for that all outlined now, including the DJ Rex toys with Pee Wee Herman voice lines, because yes.
Yeah.
How is the
Should
droid
we
track
make clear that it's Paul Rubens voicing him?
Yes, it's Paul Rubens.
It's
yeah,
not just
it's not.
The secret word is Smuggler's Run.
Rob, what were you saying?
No, I was gonna say, like, I don't know how the droid tracks is a thing. Like, I mean, it's a cute little like aesthetic to the land. I feel like, I mean, but other than that, like, why is that a thing? I feel like that should just go part and parcel with the whole deal.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it really should.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, again, not that it's not a cute detail, but I feel like that's one of those like little things. We may be to the point by the time this launches that we don't want to hear another thing about. No, it's not going to be true. Never mind.
it is funny though,
We're
because
going
like
to do it more than anybody else, and we're going to want to tell everybody, oh my gosh, and if you want to get your photo, follow the droid tracks. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't
everything
ignore
about
that
this
massive
is amazing. I
line
don't
for
know
the
what thread
photo.
it's all going to be awesome. So I guess for me, it's kind of like Nathan was saying earlier about like, you know, I don't want to see spoilers. It was you, right, that was saying like you didn't want to see the video.
Yeah, I'm trying to do
So
my
it's
best.
like you're in this tough spot where you're like, I want to know everything about this so that when I go in, I know where to go. I don't miss anything. I get the best experience I can have. But I also don't want to know everything because you want that first time. I mean, you want that first surprise because, like, as Disney fans, how many times, you know, as super fans, how many times do we get to have that first time of going into Lightning McQueen? It's, you know, you do that once, and so you have that first time. You don't want to know everything going in, but with Star Wars Land, you want to know everything that you could possibly miss because there's so much detail in it.
Well, and I'm just my main point there was like it's funny that they're bringing up all these details that we're never going to get to notice because there's crowds of people, and it's also like you could follow the tracks or you could just stand in the line that is now circled, you know, across the gift shop and down this way if you want this photo op. Like it's a nice concept, and I'm glad that they're sort of like check these out because eventually we'll get to see them. But it's sort of moot almost at this point too because it's all going to be, you know, traffic flow.
But don't you think that's true of like all of the details? I mean, like that all of the details are going to have lines in front of them and things you can't get to because
sadly,
there are
I think so.
many things happening, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we did VIP pass holder recently, and we were going down Main Street, and no one was in Main Street, and I was like, oh yeah, there's like there are backs to doors I have never seen. You know, like that stuff happens, and I think that's absolutely true. I think we're gonna have sort of. Maybe it does take them telling us these sort of things. I don't know.
Well,
but, I mean, it's fine.
Like, after hours, we did after hours last night at Animal Kingdom, and like we were walking around and just actually got to like take in all the details in Dino Land and all of like the, you know, the lore of Dino Land. So, you know, again, back to the whole Star Wars thing. Like I'm gonna read this comic and I'm gonna know stuff about Galaxy's Edge, but at the same time, you know, I don't want to know too much, but I want to know enough so that I go in and it's like, oh, hey, there's Hondo. Like, I want to know who that is. You know, that kind of stuff. I mean, you do because you watch a show, but there will also be people that just go in and say, hey, let me ride the 2 rides and get out of here.
Here's what I'm going to walk in and say. I'm going to walk in, and the thing that I was actually most excited about this week in terms of news that came out was the mugs at Oga's. I don't know why I'm unreasonably excited that they're doing this Trader Sam's-esque thing at Oga's. And there's like, that's the thing that I was like, oh my God, that's so fantastic. I can't wait for that.
Gosh, that didn't even show up on my radar.
I'm going to love buying one on eBay.
That's fair.
Because that's the only place you're going to be able to get them for like years.
Yeah, just smugglers. Literally, smugglers are going to be buying these.
Yeah, just smuggle the mug. Yeah. Oh goodness, just asking for it.
The smugglers run.
Moving on to Runaway Railway from Smuggler's Run. I guess that's what you'll take to get out of there. Runaway Railway, we know when it's opening now, at least month-wise. We don't have a specific day, but we do know it's going to be February 2020. Which previously we had spring 2020, so February, a little bit before then. It is, depending on where in February, it's either very early spring or late winter. I'm pretty excited that this is opening sooner, and I think they need to open it sooner in order to deal with the demand that they're going to have going their way with how big Star Wars is going to be for them.
Yeah.
I just have a question. Do you think that this is an indicator of when, like, Rise of the Resistance might open? I mean, if we know that that's like the big ticket, do you think they're opening this at the same time to offset that crowd?
I don't know.
Like why else would you
that would make sense?
Hurry it up from its time frame? Because nothing else, they really haven't hurried up much else.
Initially, this was supposed to be open before Star Wars. I mean, this was originally supposed to be 2019. So I'm curious if the reason, and I mean, Star Wars is now open much earlier. I mean, we were expecting mid-December for Star Wars to open. So the fact that that's moved up now several months and this has moved up several months, I'm just curious, like, is this we canceled some other projects and now have more resources? Is this, we were given some more budget? Like, I'm curious where all of this advance in opening date and progress has come from, and at what cost somewhere else.
This is why Ralph is so delayed. Yeah.
It costs everything.
If it took Ralph not opening for like 6 years for this to happen, then I'm totally okay with it. It's just, Disney is a business, and at somewhere along the line, something had to give to make this be realized. Or maybe they just had some massive fluke or glitch in their plans that they figured out an easier way to resolve and got to move it up. Who knows? But I'm just curious what that thing was, because obviously there's some factor here that made this happen.
Well, and February is generally sort of a dead zone, like when it comes to being around here, because you hit the big holiday crowd and then things kind of pepper off a little bit for a while until you hit spring break and that sort of stuff. So it's curious that they put it sort of right there. It feels it's always going to be busy because, of course, everything else that's open. But I think at the same time, it's like a softer time to sort of work out some of the bugs. We can also assume that they're going to soft open it before that. So if it is early February, that means it might soft open late January or vice versa, or it'd be early February. So if it soft opens, like, that really gives them sort of at as much as it can be, maybe a low period in the parks.
You know what,
that's actually
Nathan, is there such a thing as a soft open anymore, though? Because, I mean, they didn't soft open Toy Story, and they didn't...
we all know that. You could tell.
Right. I just mean, like, I feel like that they've kind of, like, they're not soft opening Star Wars. I mean, they're opening it earlier than we thought, but they're not soft opening Star Wars. They're not soft. They didn't soft open Toy Story. They didn't soft open Frozen. Like, it feels like it's less of a thing now, and I don't know if it's just more confidence in what they're doing, or I mean, what? Like, that's a totally another conversation, I guess.
It has. It really has.
I think the internet's made it hard. I think if you have issues and you really don't want the first press coming out of your thing is like, oh yeah, check out this video of the ride not working, like which is what happens if you
especially when they have media previews before. Yeah,
that's why we see a lot of cast
the first people that are in there are media, and they're gonna, if something's wrong, they're gonna talk about it. So
but I feel like that used to be a longer window. Like, for Media Day for Star Wars, it's the day, it's the 30th, and then the 31st they opened. And for Toy Story, it was literally the 29th, and they opened on the 30th. So, I mean, I feel like it's less of a thing than it used to be. Maybe Universal still does it. Like, I was kind of hoping that I'd see, like, the roller coaster would have a soft open while we were there. But I feel like Disney's not doing soft opens anymore. But
yeah, it's been going away.
I don't know if it's completely out of the question. We'll see.
We'll find out.
I think, but I do think if it happens, we'll see it in Disneyland.
Yep. And speaking of seeing things in Disneyland, hey, thank you for that. Tea parties, because everybody loves tea parties. Like, why wouldn't this be a thing? So Disneyland has brought back these limited time, very merry unbirthday tea parties starting on May 31st. Look at some of these. Look at that. That just looks terrific to me. I love it.
Already.
Like, I mean,
Alice in Wonderland
this is not made for me, but I love that. Get me off the screen. That's so much better.
Look adorable and probably nothing like what's actually served.
I don't care.
Hey Jill, you're the only one that really loves Alice. You talk now.
Thank you, Nick. I think this is awesome. I think it's adorable. The desserts look fantastic. However, I share Tyler's skepticism that is this what it's actually going to come out like at your table. The one thing, like, don't get me wrong, I would 100% love, like, if this were my birthday, I would do this in a heartbeat. It would be great. Why are there no characters? Like, I feel like that's such an easy thing. The desserts are inspired by characters, but there's no actual characters. I mean, they have tons of Alice walk around characters. Why are none of them attending this dessert party? It seems to be like that would be the icing on the cake for me, is being able to go there, drink tea, eat Alice themed desserts, and then have Alice and the Mad Hatter walking around. But I feel like it's a miss, and they could upcharge a little bit more and make that happen. And I don't know.
Oh, and they're already upcharging a ton. Like, if you look at the prices for this, this is
very
$52 for the base package, and the upgraded being $65, which gets you some sparkling wine and a salad.
And a truffle,
that is a good $12 of food there, possibly.
Yeah.
Are we sure
exactly.
that $52 doesn't go to letting bloggers do the same thing for free?
Oh, gosh.
I'm quite sure some of it does.
I'll believe that.
In the vein of Disney hosting events lately that seem to fall a little bit short of the mark, this, I think, is right in line with that. That there's missed opportunities here. Like with so many other things, you know, the studio's anniversary, the Wonderful World of Animation show, there's missed opportunities.
Well, I may be in the minority about this, but I think they could probably hit the mark on what these things look like because, I mean, again, just having been there, like the big donut looked exactly like I thought it would. So that was cool. The Hey cone looked exactly like I thought it would. I mean, they've been doing a really good job, I think, of matching up with what we see in the photos with a lot of the stuff. The Kylo Ren cupcake that we sampled when we were at the studios that day looks like, what they were doing. So I think they can do that part of it. But I think that, I think the tiered situation is the thing I would have a problem with because I always fear the haves and the have-nots. It's like, hey, they have more money, so they've got a better party than I do sitting however far away from me they are. Yeah. Like, I would hate that for some little girl or for Jill.
Thank you.
Speaking of having more money.
Gotta learn about socioeconomics sometime in life, right?
I guess.
Not at Disney World.
So at Disney World, if you have $444, you can get access to all 4 of the parks. Isn't that cute? We've made 4 4s. So you can purchase this One World ticket online, and it will give you access to each of the 6 parks, I should say, once. Each of the 4 main parks and each of the 2 water parks. You'll have flexibility in how you can use them, including visiting more than one park in the same day if you want to do that. And the real upshot of this is tickets can be used between June 4th and August 28th, which is a lot longer than the 2-week window that normally applies for Magic Your Way tickets.
August 28th, but what happens on August 29th? I mean, is there some reason they would stop on the 28th? That's weird. Why would they stop on the 28th?
Can't imagine.
Gosh.
Let me just jump in real quick and just say that I hate this kind of pricing. I like it when things are straightforward, and when I think about pricing like this, it always feels like a cell phone plan from the 80s and 90s. Like really complicated. Hey, you have 12 minutes that you can use anytime, and then you have weekend minutes, but they can only be used from this time to this time, and then you have these that can only be used here, and it just seems very too complicated, because again, we're super fans and we kind of see through, okay, this is why they're doing this. But I think your average person, and I mean, we've all had it, people come up to us to go, hey, I'm planning a Disney trip, I'm super confused, can you help me? This is not making that any easier to have this plan. And I know mathematically somebody sat down and said this is how this will work for us as a company, but I think for it just seems too complicated, or overly complicated, or maybe that's just me. But the other thing is, I noticed if they're putting it as 6 parks, that have they finally adopted the universal thing of, hey, we have 3 parks even though it's just 2 in a water park? Are they going to be doing that now?
Well, it does say 6 admissions, 1 to each of the theme parks and each of the 2 water parks. So they both have the word park in the name, but they're definitely not putting them on the same level.
Right.
You said that it was
they might as well call this.
I'm sorry. What was that?
You said that the math was complicated. I think it's just to trick people. It's oh well, four things or for 444. It's a number that they can remember and then go oh, I'll buy that one. It's how how we broke down the pricing of those badges you would get, or the passports for food and wine, or it's well, you have to buy the most expensive thing to actually make it worth it. This is, you have to go to the most expensive park 4 times to really make the ticket worth it, kind of thing.
Well, you can't even do that, because
I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, you can only go to each park once off this.
Oh, right. But it's that way of
titled,
this number makes more sense to people.
That's fair.
Because it sounds more memorable.
Nathan's got one in the chamber.
Well, I'm saying this thing needs to be titled please, oh please come before Star Wars. We need money, please. And that's it. That's the whole thing. They're just hey, could you just come and...
It's not like this summer is going to be dead. That's the other thing. This summer is still going to be mobbed. So I don't know. Yeah, I agree though with the thing with talking about the idea that Disney's making everything more complicated. I just remember back in the day when you could buy X number of days, it was park hopper or not, you could buy the no expiration option, but when you got there, that's when your pass started to be active, is the first day that you scanned into the park. And now it's all date based, and there's fluctuating pricing based on what time of year.
It's a mess.
They just I rue the day I stopped having an annual pass, because I actually have to think about that stuff now. All of that stuff has happened since I've been a pass holder, and now I feel like I'm going to go back to this scary world of well, I don't know when I'm going, and what if I choose to go 2 days later? Do I lose my money because I didn't go the first day I said I would? And it's just I feel
in my day, men and women used to buy e-tickets. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. A through E. You knew what you were
getting.
Well,
and that price, though, that is so close to, Jill, you were saying, an annual pass price. I mean, a base, a blocked out dates pass, isn't it? I mean, is it that far off at that point?
Most people don't have access to that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fair.
That's only available to Florida residents and DVC members. So there's a lot that the average person who doesn't live in the state of Florida or doesn't have DVC can't access. You have to buy the Platinum Pass, and that's over $900.
Well, and on a positive note, though, it does give you the opportunity to sample all 6 experiences. So that part's kind of cool, because not everybody always is going to go to the water parks, and that's a miss, because those are actually awesome experiences unto themselves. So I think that will be kind of cool for people to go experience that. And maybe that will kind of train some people to maybe branch out and not be in the parks all the time. Maybe
you're right. It's getting people to take. Yeah, it's getting people to take 4 and go, oh, if I buy this way, I get 2 water parks for free. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, the math
maybe it's a water park driver.
I'll bet it is.
Maybe that's the point.
It might be. It might be, which I don't like at all. Stay out of my water parks.
Well, if all of this ticket nonsense is too If all this ticket nonsense is too confusing for you, I would like to highly recommend our travel sponsor, Never Grow Up Vacations, because they will help you with all of this. They are the official travel partner of WDWNT. They are an authorized Disney vacation planner whose focus is in making magic for their clients. With over 20 years of experience booking Disney vacations, we're sure they can help you make your next trip even more magical and less confusing to buy tickets for. Head over to WDWNT.travel to contact them about your next trip today. that is going to do it for this week's show, folks. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching live tomorrow night, Thursday at 9 p.m., we have News Tonight coming back, so check that out over at youtube.com/WDWNT or streaming live at WDWN Tunes. We are super over, but we are going to stick around for the post show. So if you are one of our WIGS members, hang tight for that. If not, head over to patreon.com/WDWNT. For as little as $2 a month, you can subscribe there and become a member of our WIGS, our club, our WDWNT Interglobe Society, if I can stop tripping on my words. Where you can get access to great things like our post show, the post show for News Tonight. The entire podcast backlog is available there and a whole bunch of other perks. So check that out, patreon.com/WDWNT. All right, that's going to do it for this week's show, folks. Again, stick around for the post show if you're watching live. Otherwise, we will see you next week.
All spark.